I love this t-shirt, by the way. It was a gift for my birthday one year. However, I have to say the saddest thing about wearing this t-shirt is getting into a Hyundai Sonata and people looking at you and pointing as you get into an old-fashioned car with a Tesla t-shirt on. Or if you go on a walk and people are driving by seeing you wear a Tesla t-shirt but you're walking somewhere and all the kids shout at me from the back seat, "Where's your Tesla, ginger boy?" It really does get to me. It hurts. But I want to talk about how Tesla's doing because their Q3 earnings call and just overall updates on how the company is doing was yesterday, and there's a lot of updates that I feel like if you're into Tesla are just good things to know in general, and overall Tesla did a lot better than they thought they were going to do. So let's begin. For one, this was one of their best quarters ever financially because they actually made a profit. While other companies make billions of dollars in profit, Tesla is still trying to get to that point where they are net positive with cash flow, and they have made a profit a couple of times, but it's not very consistent. However, Q3 turned out to be one of those times where they actually turned a profit, and it was one of the highest they've ever turned. So before you all think that Tesla is raising the price of full self-driving just because they hate everyone and they're trying to think, how can we collect more money? Keep in mind that if you're looking for a quick way to make a buck, Tesla at this point is not a great way to do it because the company has consistently lost money for many quarters in a row, but it's all in promise of a better future where they're on top and they've mainstreamed car production processes and they have the largest charge network out there, and other companies will probably even start buying batteries from them. So there's a lot of upfront cost to get Tesla going, but they did better than a lot of people were anticipating because Elon even thought earlier this year that Q3 they would lose a little bit of money compared to their spending, when it turned out they actually cut down costs for the company, which meant they got to take home a little bit of money, so Elon could put a little $5 bill in his piggy bank at home. But this is not all just financial reports. There's actually things I think the general consumers should be aware of as well. We got Elon's updated opinions on full self-driving, which he hasn't really talked much about since Tesla Autonomy Day earlier this year, and he says that full self-driving might be feature complete by the end of 2019, and they could even potentially do an early access beta where certain people will be able to test out full self-driving. Of course, not quite level 5 autonomy. It will still require your attention, and you're probably going to have to keep your eyes on the road or a hand on a wheel just in case something goes wrong. But the fact that he's still holding true to that statement that they'll be nearing a feature-complete version of full self-driving by the end of the year or early 2020, it might get delayed a little bit, but a lot of us had doubts about that, and it's kind of good to hear that they're still targeting that same window and not pushing it back further. Of course, you won't see that be legally ready to where people can start using robo-taxi and they can roll out full self-driving to all cars until legislation on it is passed, which Elon says likely won't be until the end of 2020. But because it's the government, I think it could end up being a few more years than that. But the fact that they still feel confident about their timeline is encouraging. And if you have doubts about full self-driving because of Smart Summon, Tesla said they've also had over 1 million uses of Smart Summon, and they collect a lot of data from those Smart Summon cases that they're going to use to make Smart Summon better, because obviously if you've seen a lot of those videos online, the car can not follow lines very well, can be a little buggy, and while it was cool to see a car driving all by itself, at the same time we all watched and said this could use a little bit of work. And Tesla has followed up with that by saying that in a couple weeks they're going to be sending out a software update that's supposed to improve Smart Summon based on the data they've collected from these first 1 million uses. That's kind of the awesome thing about these Tesla vehicles. They can go be kind of crappy drivers in parking lots, but record all that data, send it back to the company, and make things better. That usually doesn't happen. The Tesla Gigafactory in Shanghai is basically production ready. They said in limited tests they've already begun the assembly and painting process of Model 3s, and they're just waiting on a few more licensing agreements from the Chinese government so they can start full-out production and then start taking orders in China and send them out from that actual factory, which is a big deal for the success of the Model 3 because China has a few more people than the United States. I'm not sure if you were aware, but so once the Model 3 becomes available for mass production at that Gigafactory, then we're going to see sales go probably much, much higher because they don't have to ship them overseas like they are right now. Most Model 3s are all built in America, but they're trying to change that. And they've also said that the next Gigafactory, which will be in Europe, is nearing a location they've decided on, and probably by the end of this year, they'll be able to announce where it's going to be. Most people are speculating Germany because it's the most centralized, and they're going to be sending out Teslas to countries all over Europe, so putting it somewhere in the middle makes the most sense. And also to follow up on that improved range of the Standard Range Plus, which I have to apologize on camera for. I performed a small brain. Some of you may have saw that video before I made it unlisted, but I thought the price of the Model 3 had gone down $500. It actually went up $500, which I still think, given they added 10 miles to the range, is a good deal because it incentivizes more people to go with Standard Range Plus. But anyway, Tesla confirmed yesterday that that is thanks to a new powertrain that they are putting in the Model 3. So it wasn't necessarily just a software update. The updated powertrain allows them to use the same size battery pack as before, but have better power efficiency. So that's why Standard Range Plus now can go 250 miles on a charge, which I think is great. And while it isn't as cool as lowering the price $500, still, I think in the grand scheme of a $40,000 car, that's not very much to let the driver go an extra 10 miles. That's awesome. And for the first time ever, this is one of the exciting things about the Tesla assembly process. A car that's not available yet is ahead of schedule. The Model Y, which Tesla is anticipating to perform better than the Model 3, because in America at least, there's a bit more demand for crossover and SUV type vehicles than there is for regular size sedans. Originally, they said Model Y production was not going to begin until the end of 2020, but Elon went down to the speed option on YouTube and bumped it up to 2x, and now they're saying production of the Model Y is going to start in summer of 2020, which makes a lot of sense given we're seeing leaked videos of Model Ys on the road. That's what I do in my spare time. I check to see how many I can find because it's really, really cool seeing those unreleased cars be driving around and even some cars leaving the factory. So like a lot of leaks were telling us in the past, Model Y is ahead of schedule and they're going to likely be releasing it earlier than anticipated. And wow, how often does that happen? Tesla is the company notorious and known for missing deadlines and having to delay things and not being ready. They have to push things back, and most of the time I excuse it because they're trying to do things like no other car company's trying to do. But now that they're actually ahead of the game and say, you know what, actually it's done now. When is it going to stop? Are they learning? Are they getting better at everything? Now they're going to be like, it's ready tomorrow. You can buy the Model Y right now. Before all of you start asking, Drew, so are you interested in buying the Model Y next year? I'm good, honestly. I think the Standard Range Plus, now that it got that increased range, is a more appealing purchase to me for the Model 3 because I don't need my car to be chunk. It's cool to have that extra cargo space, but I'm much more comfortable with sedans personally. And also the standard range version of the Model Y, just as a reminder, is likely not going to be available when the Model Y first comes out because right now in the reservation process, you can only get long range or performance. There is no standard range option yet. Currently, the website says standard range production is not going to begin until 2021, but now that they're ahead of schedule, maybe standard range is ahead as well. In that case, maybe standard range production will start at the end of next year. I don't know. I'm assuming, but I just figured if they're ahead of schedule, maybe they'll start standard range sooner. They also brought up in yesterday's report, finally, an update on the Tesla Semi, which I think is a really, really cool truck. Far more interested in that than the Model Y. I personally want to sell this house, buy a semi truck, and live in the back of it. And I'm only partially joking about that. If you were asking if I was serious, kind of, but not really. Mostly joking. Mostly. But anyway, the update is that it will be entering limited production at the end of 2020, which does mean technically they're on track with that. So they're not ahead of schedule with the Semi, as when they first unveiled it, they mentioned that production would be starting in 2020. As per usual with Tesla vehicles, it's good to know that things aren't being delayed and things are on track. Though limited quantities could mean a few things. That could mean that they're not going to be available for many businesses, but to know that by the end of next year, we could be seeing Tesla Semi trucks on the road is going to be pretty cool, especially since I love that interior so much. Dual displays as you sit in that centered throne. I would put Twitter on one, I'd put Discord on the other, and I'd watch YouTube videos on one, and then maybe watch my speed and my surroundings a little bit, but mostly YouTube and Twitter, and then I would just sit back and enjoy the ride as the Semi takes the road. And I'm sure some of you are interested on the pickup truck, which it sounds like on the earnings call Elon was intentionally quiet about. However, he did continue to say that the pickup truck unveiling should still be next month. That hasn't been pushed back, and that it is one of the best products they have ever made, which is quite the hype. I mean, this is coming from the guy who invented fart mode, and he's saying that the pickup truck is going to surpass that. All jokes aside, I'm pumped for that, mostly just because I want to know the range. I want to know what it looks like. I keep seeing this teaser image, and I can't put in my brain what it looks like. I'm like, how does it look? The Cyberpunk truck, obviously, it's supposed to have some type of design that not everyone is going to like, which is usually my favorite type of car, but it's just so different different from everything Tesla's ever made, you know, between all of their cars being aerodynamic and sleek and trying to give you this luxurious feeling, and with the Model 3 and Model Y at more affordable price points, pickup truck just doesn't really line up with everything else they've done. So I'm curious to see how they go with it, especially given Rivian is looking to start up production soon. So competition's a good thing. I'm rooting for both, but mostly curious about the actual range numbers on that pickup truck. In the past, Elon has said they want to start it at around 49K. But either way, I'm very excited to get a look at it. Excited that Tesla made a profit. I'm happy for them, and I hope this trend continues. And if you have thoughts on the subject, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter or join our Discord. And for the love of God, people, keep an eye on your car when it's in Smart Summon, okay? It's still technically in beta. Let's hope this update doesn't make all the cars, you know, drive over a bunch of speed bumps as they'll be registered by the software. Let's hope that doesn't happen. This is your Tesla Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.